Welcome back to Pole Obsession, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of pole dancing, its culture, evolution, and the incredible people shaping it. Today, we have an absolute icon in the Australian pole scene. The wonderful Ness is here to join us. She is the powerhouse behind Bobbi's Pole Studio Sydney, the longest running and original pole studio in Australia, and the creator of Miss Pole Dance Australia, which is the longest pole competition in the world. She also has her fingers in many pies because we also have Mr. Pole Dance and MX Pole, two incredible sister competitions that have also stemmed from her original competitions. So she's here today to talk to us about all things pole and Bobbi's and Miss Pole Dance Australia and everything after that. Thank you, Ness, for being with us and welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Ness, where did the little Bobbi's girl, the little Bobbi's, the logo, where did that come from?
Oh, okay. So all these people, I think when you register a business name, people get your list and they call you like, do you want a website? And we're like, no, who wants a website? What's a website? Like, And then they kept calling. And then one of our students, Foxy, who ended up being a teacher, her and her husband had a company called Red Fox Media. And she brought into class one night this folder. And it was like, we would like to, do your branding for you. We would like to, give you a logo. And this is like 10 logos you can choose from. And the only reason we bought it is because she made a business card for me and for Bobbi with our name on it. And it's like, owner, Bobbi's Pole Studio. And we're like, oh, this is awesome. So we had like our business card. We're like, let's go with them because they're cool. and we're like, oh, website, okay. And they made it for us for free classes. So she did free classes and we got a website. And we just went, oh, that girl looks the best. Thanks.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty simple.
So cute.
Have you still got that same website?
No. Oh, it's not that different though. No, it is a little bit different, yeah. But we've taken the girl away. We've kind of painted over her. We just kind of let her phase out.
Phase the girl out. Well, she needed to retire. It's not a forever game.
Exactly. Although the students got her tattooed on her belly.
Oh.
People do that, don't they? I think there's a ton of Felixes out there.
There would be.
Yeah. I love them. I love. There's a few people with the wing as well. It's so sweet. Yeah. Such a lovely
well, it's a compliment, right?
Compliment, yeah. You just
it is. Yeah.
I'm always like, it's very brave of people to get something like that immortalized on them when they don't know you personally. I don't think I'm a bad person personally, but yeah, what if I was?
Yeah, well, that's it. Right. So then with the new studio, how many poles were in that one?
Let me move what was the same as we got now. So 13, 14, and 8. Whatever that is.
Okay, so it's less.
35.
Well, you've got the additional 14. So the other one was 16 and 8, and this one is 16, 8, and 14. So it's 14 more.
So bigger. So you can run more classes then.
I'm on the same level, and we have a lift that works. We have air conditioning. That's the other thing. Oh my goodness, we didn't have air conditioning. Oh,
wow. Yeah, that's a big deal. And what about the other studio in Miranda?
Yeah,
is that what it's called?
Bobbi lived down that way, and she's like, "Oh, set one down here." Like, I know lots of girls don't want to come into the city, so we just opened that up. And it had a mezzanine level, and we put a fireman's pole from the mezzanine. So if you go up for your flexibility class, you can go down the fireman's pole to get to the bottom. That was fun.
And that would have been a big thing. So tell us about setting that one up.
We had a builder, so it wasn't. I mean, we did a lot of work, like we'd paint and stuff, but we had a builder. To put the poles, and that one had to have like the steel beams in and stuff. Actually got two funny stories. We got the morning show, they did the cross with Grant Denyer to different, like the Easter show, and he did a cross to our Miranda studio pole dancing. And so we had all the girls wear more clothes than normal. And they were going to do 5 live crosses to us while he did the weather. And they did the first live cross. We got there at like 4:30 in the morning. It is not a nice time of day. I'm not a morning person. We all got there really early, and the girls got dressed up, and they all had their hair and makeup done. They did one live cross, and then that girl from the morning show, the blonde, I don't know, whatever, Carrie Ann Kennelly or whatever, said, "No, take it off. It's too risque for morning TV, blah, blah, blah." It was kind of the best thing. So we were really bummed. it was kind of the best thing that ever happened though, because the backlash they got for taking it off gave us so much attention, much more. Like we were in the paper because they got taken off, and people were. Anyway, on the way home, I was calling my friend to say, we got kicked off the air and stuff. Police pulled me over for talking on my mobile phone. I was like, no, you don't understand. And we had this morning and all this stuff happened. We got kicked off the morning show. Anyway, his wife still comes. She's still a student. Because I was like, yeah, I still got the ticket, but I got a student, and she's been with us for like 15 years.
I think you made your
Wow.
money back on that ticket.
But the other thing was when we first started Elizabeth Street, one of the girls in my mother's group was a journalist, and she wanted to do. So I got the mother's group over to my house to play on my pole, and we got Bobbi over to give us a bit of a lesson. And she bought a photographer, and she wrote an article, and the article was so embarrassing. In Women's Day, the "It Happened to Me" segment was "I pole danced, my baby fed away." That was the title, and that was me. But at the minute that came out, which is totally not true, I did not pole dance, my baby fed away. Although you could, and it's a thing, you should, whatever. But as soon as that Women's Day hit the thing, my phone went off. All these people wanted to do stories. We just had I've got a folder of the stories that we had because it was so new, and the mothers group were all like, they were like, "Ooh, yeah, cool. We're in all these photos and videos," and we were
Amazing.
and,
I think people really don't realize the climate back then. Like pole dancing was so, it's not even niche, it was still really taboo. Like it was so misunderstood, but also there was this huge curiosity and hunger for it. And I think people really don't understand that now, the people that are starting now or that have been in it for even the last 10 years. The way it was like back then, it was so different.
Yeah, chalk and cheese. It's not even close to being remotely the same. So how many years ago are we talking now, Ness? Like 19 for the
or
Miranda?
the Miranda Street, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
19. Yeah.
The first
So
birthday.
19 and 21 for the original Bobbies.
Yeah, so the 14th of February is our birthday, and so that's this Friday, Valentine's Day. It's not really the date, but Bobbi and I could never remember the date, and we're like, let's make it Valentine's Day because we know it's around then, and then we'll never forget. We didn't think, obviously nobody ever wants to come to the studio on Valentine's Day because they're all out doing things. Anyway,
Exactly.
so the 14th of February, this Friday, we will celebrate our 21st birthday, and we're celebrating that in Miranda too, because I can't
lovely.
remember the Miranda.
Yeah,
So
no, I think I do that too with my studios. I've got one date and that's it.
Yeah.
The very
I don't
first.
have a birthday because I don't remember because I was heavily pregnant.
When you
I
first
hear that.
opened.
I have no idea.
Yeah, was it a franchise after that? Was there a Singapore studio after that? Or was it
So
Perth?
So we went City, Miranda, then so Bobbi was in Japan for like 10 years as a showgirl with her sister Kim. And so when she came back, she was working in the clubs. Then we set up Bobbi's, and Kim was running a fish and chip shop, I think.
Yeah.
And then she's just as good a dancer as me. Like she wants to open a studio. I'm like, cool. So Perth opened. And then these people were coming over from Malaysia and Singapore to do privates with Bobbi. And she got really close to them because they would come for weeks at a time. And so then we set up Malaysia and Singapore at the same time as franchises. Singapore's now closed down. Malaysia's still going. Yeah.
I didn't know you had two. I only thought that you had one. So were they franchises or how did that work?
We're franchises. Yeah.
Franchises. So you went through the whole franchise situation.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty loose. It wasn't like a big, huge document. We actually paid money to get a big, huge document, and then we decided, Bobbi decided she didn't really want randoms franchising because I was like, let's franchise. We'll get in hindsight. Okay, so she wanted to be really specific about who ran her studio because it's her name, right? So she got very protective of the name, which is fair enough. And I was like, it's just franchise. Everyone will make money for nothing. She was probably better. Her plan was solid. But in hindsight, what I wish we'd done is got our teachers to open their own franchises. So I wish that Jamila had and Cleo had, and like, you know, because at certain stages, the teachers kind of got too big for us. And a lot of them did go and open up their own studios. And I think that's a real shame. I think we should have supported them, but also got a kickback for, you know, our trouble.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really nice. So hindsight's a beautiful thing. I wish we'd done that.
Yeah, but hindsight as well on, you know, on the side of the teachers that do go and do that. If the support was there, you would have taken it, you know? So it's like a learning for both. You know, if you don't know that it's there, you're not going to ask for it. But equally, if you don't know to offer it, you're not going to offer it either.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really beautiful thing to say. And I think, you know, I hope that that there are opportunities like that for instructors in the future to have that conversation, at least to say, like, instead of, because I know that can be where some teacher and studio relationships break down, is when the teacher does become too big and then they move on and do their own thing. But if they could, you know, stay under that umbrella and have their own version of, or their own franchise of their home studio, I'm sure that a lot of people would want to do that, because you have the experience and the name and, you know, everything behind you. And it would have been a lot easier, I think, for a lot of people to do that than to start on their own.
I agree. How long ago was the last one that you opened?
Oh, it was Singapore and Malaysia, when we didn't ever really go big on the franchise thing. So that was, I don't know, 15 years ago, 18? I don't know, a long time. 18, 19.
So you kind of grew like really sort of quite rapidly in the first 5 years. And then that was enough for studios, or did you want to take it any further, or do you want to now?
No, I don't want to now. It's oversaturated. There's nothing more. Like, do not open a pole studio unless you know that there's nothing within 100 miles or something. Like, there's too many. Stop opening. It's ridiculous. No, I do not want to go down that, because that would be very whatever of me. But also I had a newborn. Well, within the first 5 years, I had two baby, like, you know, a baby and a toddler. It's hard. I was like, it was hard to run a full-time business. I actually went back to work after my first maternity leave, because I thought I had to, in order to keep my maternity pay. I didn't have to. I got the wrong information. Anyway, I went back, and every lunchtime I'd be like answering phone calls, like calling people back that I had missed in the first half. And I'd be like, right, do you want full nude or nude, you know, a G-string for that stripper on your hen's night? And like, there'd be like meerkats and puppets. Everyone would be like, what's going on? Word got around pretty quick. I was a spicy person to come back. Everyone's like, what are you doing? What's happening? They'd introduced me as the pole dancer. I wasn't pole dancing. I was bringing up a kid and trying to run a business. Anyway, I didn't get the corporate job for long. But yeah, running it, and like, so I was doing reception, taking all the calls, like making, you know, and would often just take the kids into work so I could do it. It was hard. So yes.
Yeah,
Did
it's a
you
huge
ever
sacrifice, a huge like personal sacrifice to do that.
Yeah. Did you ever teach?
No, so I taught hens nights a lot, because I was good at the front hook spin or whatever, you know. I was teaching hens nights a lot, and I taught hens nights till I was 8 months pregnant, and I gave birth at 8 months. So I would wear my little pirate costume, and I'd walk to the front door, because I was doing, like, you know, maybe 10 hours on a Saturday night of exercise in my thigh highs and my little pirate outfit. I would walk to the front door to let people in, and I'd walk straight on them. And then when I'd open the door to let them in and turn sideways, they'd see my big belly. Like, it was huge. I'd be like, oh, okay. So I had to adjust some of the routines so I could do them with my huge belly. And I taught a mini term once. But yeah, after my second kid, I kind of stopped pole dancing because I was just tired. You know, two kids, running a business, blah, blah, blah. And every time I would go to do a class, it would feel like work. I'd be like, oh, that window's dirty. Oh, I've got to clean that, you know, I've got to change that light bulb. It didn't feel like nice anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's not really talked about much as well, is when you turn your passion into your job, you lose the joy a lot. You know, it takes a lot more work to find that place where you found happiness in it, because it is work. You see all the things that need to be all the things that need to be done, all the things that like you'd have to think about it. It's your job. That's how you make your money now. So you have to be the boss, and you have to take responsibility for all of the things that before it was just fun times.
100%. And I would either be thinking, oh, I've got to give that teacher, the teacher that's teaching me, some feedback about what she just did, or that, she did that really well. I've got to remember to, tell her that. Yeah, totally took the joy out.
Yeah, it's a different space for sure. For sure, living there is different.
So speaking of teachers, Bobbi's is very, very well known for having incredible teachers. Can you tell us about that, how it started, and even today, like you've got some pretty amazing instructors. How do you go about getting your instructors and keeping them at that high level that you've got them at?
So originally it was Candice and Jamila and Bobbi that were teaching. I don't know who came next, but they were always handpicked from the people that had gone right through our syllabus and the advanced people. And it was really important that they were, just nice people, as well as great pole dancers, and ability to teach. So that's really hard, I think, to get. You might be a fantastic pole dancer, but have no idea how to teach. One of my friends is just super flexible. And I'm like, come on, teach a contortion class. She's like, I'm just naturally like this. I don't know how to get people here, So, anyway, so yeah, the handpicked were pretty picky. And we'd rather run with less classes than to have somebody that's not kind of up to scratch.
And so what about just the growth of it? Like, or even just sustaining what you've got, because as we know, over the years, our commercial rent goes up as the CPI increase every year. Instructors go up, all sorts of things do. So how are you maintaining it or growing it now?
Yeah, that bit sucks. That my rent has gone up so much. It's so much. And the floor, like 2 floors above me, it's $4,000 a month cheaper because they've just come in. And I'm like, I'm loyal. Like, this is ridiculous. So yes, it's hard. Things are harder. Profit margin is much smaller than it used to be.
And it's definitely like you were saying before, like having workers at your studio at midnight, and then you personally going in with your newborn to take over. Like, even just having people that are willing to work until that hour, I would struggle to find anybody who would work past like 8-9 p.m. now.
Yeah.
Like even if the money was good, they'd be like, no, it interferes with my life. And fair enough, it does. It did. We didn't sleep very much at all, but we loved it.
Very, very true. Thank you for listening to our chat with Ness from Bobbi's Pole Studio. Next week, we're going to have another chat with Ness about the incredible Miss Pole Dance Australia and her competition she's created since. In the meantime, if you'd like to follow Ness, you can follow her at Bobbi's Pole Studio. You can follow Felix at The Real Felix Kane, and you can follow Elizabeth at Aerial Pole, all on Instagram. Thanks for listening.